Okay, so this is a much better leather hard, an actual like a hard cheddar cheese, leather hard. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the foot out because I wanted it to be 4 points of contact, one here and one here on each side. And to get those pretty even, I'm going to use these pieces of yardstick that I got. And I'm just going to kind of measure them out. This is just to keep them the same thickness and the same distance, roughly. So I'm going to go back to the X-Acto knife and mark where these are going to go. I also use these yardsticks to measure out, or to roll out a slab of clay that you'll see in a minute. That'll be the bottom of this, but this gives them a nice even thickness as well. Instead of having to worry about rolling them out evenly, you could just use those as guides. And then if you want it thicker, you could always stack them on top of each other. You can get free paint sticks from hardware stores. These I just picked up, they're about $1 each, and cut them down to different sizes. But paint sticks work just as well. The 5-gallon size ones, they're bigger than the gallon size ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a curve from the bottom here. And I'm going to do it at an angle, kind of with the inside higher than the outside. And this is just to give it a look of lift instead of having it sit flush on the table. This will give it an appearance of lifting off the table, give it a shadow underneath. So I'm just gonna, once again, I'm not overly concerned about this being perfectly even on both sides because I like that asymmetrical look. I think it adds a little bit of interest visually to the pots. So, but I just want it to be deep enough so that you could see the lift on the pot. That's the main concern. So just a little bit to make sure that that inside edge is higher than the outside edge. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And just pull it up alongside there. I do kind of want both edges to be close to each other. But again, they don't have to be perfect. So. It's nice to be able to work on a lazy Susan so you don't have to keep picking up the wear board or the bat each time you want to move it around. You can just slide it around. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a nice little semicircle here as well, keeping the inside edge higher than the outside edge. So I'm just going to cut it and come back up just to give it a bit of an undercut, so that we'll be able to see the lift of the vessel. So the foot actually has a stance. All these pieces of clay that I'm cutting off of here, since they're leather hard, I usually just collect them all up, dip them in water, and then I could stick them back in a bag so that they could rehydrate, and then I could wedge them back so it's not too much of a waste of clay. Okay. Next step is the falling camera. Twice. It's a different phone I'm using. I'm used to my Samsung. Now I'm using this iPhone. That might be even better. So, falling phone. Yay. Okay, so next step is to put the slab of clay on and kind of smooth it over so that you can see where the foot is going to sit so we could score and slip. So there's two sides to this. I don't know if we could see it in the video. This side has a texture to it, and this side is smooth, which is the side that the rolling pin was rolling on. And I have canvas all over my table here that help the pottery or the clay not stick. And it leaves a texture. So I'm going to put that on the bottom so the smooth side is on the interior. My next step is to cut off all this extra that I'm not going to end up using. And this stuff, again, just goes right into the reclaim bag. Because this stuff I just rolled out today and it's still pretty wet. So I'm just cutting it off so it's about just a couple of centimeters, maybe a 1/4 inch or so, hanging over the edge. I don't need it a lot, but I don't want it too close so that when I start pushing it around, it'll have some give. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a damp sponge and just follow this edge. I'm just kind of slightly pressing down where the foot ring is, where the clay is going to join together, just to give me an impression on the clay on the underside of it, so that I know where to score and slip. So put this out of the way. Grab this. I'm just going to flip this piece of clay upside down, and you can kind of see where the trace lines went. And all I need to do now is slip those. And I'm going to slip both sides of it just to make sure that it joins really well. Probably don't have to worry about it as much with this because this clay is really wet still, but since this other part of it is dry, I want to make sure that it's joined really well. I'm still going to put them under plastic so that they could even out, and I'm just cross hatching just to give it more surface area. So move that to the side. Pull this back up and do the same here. I want to slip it first. Do the slip first so that when you score it, the slip gets kind of pushed into the clay body. And also helps as you score it, it'll create a little bit more of its own slip. So just to make sure it's all the way around it, and then we score. Making sure to cross hatch as well as we go. Okay, so now we're going to put this top back on. We just want to make sure that those lines match up. What I should have done was put a registration mark on the pot and on the clay so that I know where they matched up to. But I lucked out this time and was able to lay it down in a pretty close approximation of what it was supposed to be. So we pull out the damp sponge again, a little bit more damp than that, or a little bit more dry, and then we just roll over it with it. I saw this form first on Ceramic Arts Daily video, and I'll post the original link so you can see the original one on there. She does I forget what her name is, but she does obviously a better job than I do because I'm just this is my first time making this one, and I'm sure she's done many of them before. So one day maybe I'll be good.